Hey guys, this is Savannah from earthandwater.co, and today I want to talk about that hole in your heart that feels like a void in your chest. You know what I mean. We all have it. We all know it. It's there. And we spend most of our time doing this cool thing where we're trying to fill the hole with something, because it's a hole, right? There's something missing, obviously. We can feel that, we know that, but we're not really sure what that is. So we just keep stuffing it full of things, trying to make it feel better. And, those things that we stuff it with, food and relationships and, just your basic consumerismness, buying things, which work, all of that works for the time being, but it always ends up dissolving, doesn't it? It always comes back. The hole always comes back. So how do we fill that void in our chest permanently so we don't have to worry about it anymore, so we don't have to feel it anymore, because we're actively trying to feel it, right? Like FILL, fill it up so that we don't have to deal with it anymore. That hole is a tricky thing and a driving force for most of reality and humanity. My, what power it has. And that is nothing more than problematic at best. So I have a few helpful directions to point you so that maybe we can make a lasting change with this whole thing. So we jumped right into what not to do to fix it permanently. Jumping over to what to do, as always, comes back to mindset, which is energy and vibration and all of that. Starting with that we are multi-dimensional beings. And society and culture has raised us up in this day and time to believe that we are pretty much just physical beings. And yeah, that's changing and that's great, and we could talk about that. But point being, most of us are still living on a purely physical plane of existence. And this is causing the hole because you're denying the other parts of yourself. And sure, it's a mind, body, soul, and a lot of us can pretty well get on board with the mind part as well, but that soul aspect is lacking in a lot of people. But just, make sure you're taking into account all three aspects of who you are and finding some self-care and balance for all three. So not only do we want to be taking care of our body, with eating right and exercising and, all the things that you're supposed to be doing to take care of your body, resting appropriately, which a lot of us are guilty of not doing. We also want to make sure that we're taking care of our minds. So as again, making sure that you're exercising it as you need to, resting it and clearing it as you need to, being mindful of what you put into it. We are what we consume, and that is not only subject to food. It's what we're listening to, the quality of the things that we watch. Are you watching trash television? I'm not going to go any further with that one. But anyway. And then third, the spirit, the soul, the inner connection to your higher self and source energy, whatever you describe that and define that as. It's all the same. Words are limiting. Don't get stuck on the words anyway. Finding time to connect to that, the grander scheme. And all of that is just essentially self-care. Okay, so it's just self-care. I should have mentioned that before I started elaborating on the mind, body, spirit, self-care stuff. But anyway, so that's just self-care. It's just self-care, which is no secret to overall well-being, which is where we're headed towards in this and feeling whole. But most people do forget about the mind, body, spirit aspect, like all three multi-dimensional aspects of yourself. And honestly, you could probably go deeper than that, but we're not going to. Just make sure you're really understanding fully who you are through and through, chakra per chakra, cell by cell, moment to moment, and belief to belief, and taking care of every little aspect. Which brings us into our next one, embracing yourself as a whole. Same thing, but different, as in, the shadow work. We all have darkness, we all have light. We cannot have the light without the darkness. It is just what it is. It's the whole thing where none of us will ever be perfect. We're all going to have that dark inside. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It's a neutral thing. They're both neutral, because good and bad are only concepts that we have labeled. Energy is not morally good or bad or evil or anything like that. It just is. It's positive or negative. Charged, like, the magnetic poles, each end, you can't have one without the other. They don't exist independently. You have to have that contrast. So taking that into understanding yourself and knowing that it's okay to have things that you don't necessarily morally agree with about yourself in there. Sit with it. Sit with every little piece and aspect of you and everything that you are, and just analyze it and think about it and try to figure out where it came from, and do you agree with it or not? And if you don't or do, just depending on what it is, where do you go from there to build a better future for yourself and those around you? We get too stuck on the stories of the past, and those stories are part of our stories, but they do not define us. Where we go next, what we do next, is what defines us. And at any point, any moment, we can decide that we don't like that story anymore, and that we're going to turn around and go start walking towards this other story that we do like, that's better. All of those things that happened behind us were terrible, were awful. They were, oh man, did they suck. But we're not paying attention to them anymore. We're not giving them any more of our energy, because we have let them hold on to us and drag us back. They're weights. They're weights on your feet trying to move forward in the progress, and it's not going to be easy to lockpick them off, but we can any day, anytime decide that we want to. And once we decide that we want to drop those weights, drop those stories, and change them and move freely and quickly into the future, head forth with abundance, peace, and prosperity, and all of those good things, we can do it. But it starts with deciding, and that's it. And from there, it's just a little bit of time, a little bit every day, and sometimes you'll fall, but just keep remembering that you don't want to do that anymore, so you can choose better choices. And that's really and honestly it. Self-care and self-love. That's the core. That's all you need. But I'm going to add one more thing in there, like an active step, because those are some pretty abstract steps. Like, okay, Savannah, I get it. I got it. So eight other people done told me all of this, so you're not helping. So my actionable step is minimalism and cleanliness, and that's all of the same thing and tied into one. We're going to actively throw out that which does not serve us any longer, that which we do not need, that which is just simply collecting dust, that which we have kept for us just in cases, that which we are not active. If it's set there for a year and you have not touched it, throw it out, okay? Well, I mean, don't trash it. That's bad for the landfills and stuff, but try to give it away if you can get away, and if you can't do that, then donate it and sell it, and I don't know, just make it your goal, life's mission to detox every aspect, everything, constantly be cleaning and tossing out. Unsubscribe to everything that is not in your immediate peripherals. Does that even make sense? Immediate peripherals? I think you know what I mean, though. If you're not actively needing it, unsubscribe from it, unfollow it, try to minimize your trash scrolling and trash TV, and we're just minimizing, getting rid of anything that we can, chipping and pruning until we are left with a marble sculpture of beautiful, awesome, high vibration yayness. That which we desire cannot manifest if there's not place for it, if there's not room for it in your life. If you're back-to-back booked, then there's nothing else to come in. If your bedroom is just stacked with stuff all over the place, then there's no place for a lover. Just per example, if you have no free space, free room, free time, you have no you can't cultivate those relationships and bring in and draw in and manifest that abundance that you desire. Energy moves. You don't want it to stagnate. Always be cycling things out. Things come, things go. Nothing's permanent. That's the only thing we're promised. And the more space you can create around you, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually and time-wise, just create space everywhere, in every direction, at every look. Space on your desk, space in your bedroom, space in your living room, space in your car. Is your car clean? What if what you've been wanting is somebody who really deeply understands you and wants to be with you all the time, and they come along and just a spur of moment, and you don't want to have to move out everything in your passenger seat for them to get into your car, Already have it ready to where somebody can get in and ride with you if they want to. That's an energetic block. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. If you have stuff piled up in your passenger seat, then that's an energy block. That stuff is blocking anybody else from getting in the car, You want some new nice clothes, but your closet's so jam-packed that you can't even wear everything you got in there. If you're holding on to that thing just in case one day you might need it, that's a scarcity mindset. That's not a mindset of abundance. That's lack. You lacking over there. We don't need it. We don't need it right now. We haven't needed it in the past year and a half. If we do by chance need it, we will be able to acquire it with ease. Okay? We'll be able to borrow one, or we can just go grab one from the store because that's the world we live in. It's fine. You don't have to hold on to it. We're creating abundance here. We have everything that we need at any given time, whether it is in our hands or not. And that's basically all I've done to create my life, is hold on to these mental concepts, these mindset concepts to how you can live a better life, and just keep focusing on what you want to create and trying to let go of the stories and the traumas that you're holding on to and repeating those stories. I know it was bad, okay? I know it was bad. Yes, it was terrible. But every time you replay it in your head, you're bringing back those emotions, those vibrations, those stories, and allowing the cycle to continue and just, fester? You can't heal a wound if you keep picking it open. You have to let it scab over, and then it'll just slowly heal with time, but you got to leave it alone. And when you're constantly retelling the stories and reliving the stories and thinking about the stories and making choices dependent upon those stories, then you're picking them back open. You're not allowing them to be and heal. But you also have to disperse that energy. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this, which is still just a direction, a leg of that. But anyway, I try not to let these drag on forever. Join us in the Facebook group. It's around here somewhere. Talk to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know what can we do to help. We're here to help. And the more you talk to me, the more I can figure out how to talk to you, how to help you, so that we can all help each other, so that we can heal this world, so that maybe we can create a better place for our children and their children, so that they don't have to deal with the crap that we dealt with, right? Anyway, let me know, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste. You got this.